the Raleigh Transit Authority. Today is Thursday, January 15th, and it is 3:35 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. We're going to start with introductions of all the members of the authority. We'll start all the way down here on the right.
Hi, everybody. Colin Beamer.
Byron Leak.
Mark Teague.
Leo Suarez.
Jen Truman.
Latanya Williams.
Linda Davis.
Christian Daniels.
Johnny Thomas.
All right, thanks, y'all. And the first thing that we do every month is approve the action summary minutes. These will be from November because we did not meet in December. I would entertain a motion to approve those.
Motion to approve minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Suarez.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Leak. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Awesome. We passed the minutes. Are there any revisions or additions to today's agenda?
Staff did receive a request to give just a brief update on an incident that occurred at Go Raleigh Station last week, and I'll be glad to do that whenever you're ready.
Okay, we could do that at the top of the staff items, so sort of next. Is that all right? Did anyone have anything else? Okay. We will hold public comment at 4 p.m. on the dot, so we'll start rolling down the agenda until that time. Are there any folks, I know we had the holidays, we had December off, but we always like to hold this spot on our agenda in case folks went to any advocacy things or know of any advocacy opportunities that are coming up. I know I took the holidays off with my kiddos and I did not attend anything since we last met. Anyone else?
I attended a lot of CFAC meetings, Continuum of Care meetings. Matter of fact, because I'm on the board, they want somebody from us to come speak before them. Both the state CFAC would like somebody and the COC would like somebody to talk about our transit system, how people with mental illness and disability can utilize the system better, and basically how the system is going to work with budget cuts that are coming down, and this is going to be an increase in service cost.
Okay. I think we could definitely coordinate with staff on getting the right folks with all the information in front of them, but we always love a chance to present about the buses somewhere.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. We're rolling along to staff actions. So do you want to give that incident report first, Mr. Walker?
Sure. Forgive me, I don't have the day or date that this occurred, but it was one day last week. There was some media coverage, so you may have seen it in the news. But there was an arrest made for an incident where there was a person there carrying a machete. And I received a call and just asked for a brief update. So that's what we'll provide today. The Raleigh Police Force Trace Unit, which stands for Transit Recon and Community Engagement, was actually on site within the station at the time this was escalating. They were observing the interactions between a couple of individuals, and when the person pulled out his big knife, the Trace Unit moved in and immediately took control, de-escalated, and quite frankly, had the guy sitting on the curb in cuffs before anybody really even knew about it. So they were right place, right time, and had it under control really before anything ever happened. They, I believe the person has some outstanding warrants and was arrested and taken to jail due to those actions and the outstanding warrants.
Thank you. I think a couple of years ago, there was also a machete incident at Moore Square at the park itself. I'm wondering if it's the same gentleman, but thank you.
Yeah, definitely appreciate updates, especially when things make it in the news on how things are being resolved that we can share with the public. And then I think we've talked about safety a few times at recent meetings. What's the next chance that we'll get a presentation on safety, either at the committee level or at the board?
Yeah, so after there were some bus operators that went to city council at one of the public comment meetings, and after that, our ATP Dev, our contractor that provides the service, actually reached out to a well-known and established consultant that does safety and security reviews and studies. This person, her name is Wanda Dunham. And if you do a Google search, she'll pop up pretty fast, and at the top of the search, you'll see that she's the former police chief for the MARTA system down in Atlanta. She did that for many years before retiring and becoming a consultant. So she travels around agencies like Raleigh and does studies. She has been to Raleigh. She conducted many interviews with drivers, supervisors, staff. She and her team were at Go Raleigh Station, and they interviewed riders. They talked to Capitol Special Police. They talked to some of the Raleigh Police Trace Unit officers. And so they are now putting their report together. There is a draft copy available that I have not seen yet. It just, I think, was circulated within the corporate RATPDF staff maybe as this week. And they're expecting that final copy to be ready potentially late this month or sometime in February. So as soon as that final copy is ready, what we can do is ask our ATP Dev if they can have someone from their staff or potentially even Ms. Dunham come back to this board and do a presentation on what they saw and observed and any potential strategies that we may look towards for improvements.
Yeah, I think we'd definitely be interested in a presentation to the full board. That way it's available to the public in full as well. So I guess it sounds like February or March that would be on the agenda.
Yeah, it'll just depend on when that final document is ready, and then they'll have to have some time to get a presentation ready and see who they feel like would be the best person to do that presentation, whether it's somebody here local from the team or maybe from the corporate team or potentially even Ms. Dunham herself.
Okay. Anyone have questions on the safety issue or the presentation in the future?
Is it just looking at Moore Square, or is it looking at overall the whole system in other areas that could be concerned?
They did look all over. Obviously, Go Raleigh Station was a focus.
Okay.
I can say because there were some of the comments from the operators were about the fixed route, the operations and maintenance facility down Pool Road. So she did quite a bit of work down there and reviewed that. So I'm sure there'll be some information in there about that.
Did she know she was looking at the Rust location, even though that's not, but, like planning forward ahead, just in case, like.
Yeah, that's not a city property. That's a Go
Okay.
Triangle property.
Okay.
Although I think Go Triangle had hired her on the front end as they were building and designing that facility. She actually did do some work for them.
Okay.
Yeah, just real quick, because I know we have to move on. Is somebody looking into the fact that we're starting to have more rallies now and bringing out a lot of more people? It's happening a lot on Capitol and around Moore Square with the immigration and ICE that is going on. Is there a plan to look into the services and the fact they're being affected and people's fears of even coming downtown because of this? If that's...
I would have to do a little bit of research. I do know that any kind of rally has to go through the permitting process through our special events office. So any legal gathering of people, such as what you're talking about, would have to be permitted, and it gets looked at by fire and police and inspections and all the departments that are part of that special events task force program.
Okay. I think we'll keep moving along. If there's no further questions, you guys can always send those questions for us to look at in committee or next month. The next thing is marketing and public outreach report from 2025.
Good afternoon, Andrea Epstein with Communications. I'm going to briefly go over the community engagement the entire transit team participated in 2025. So some of the events we do include Touch a Truck, open houses, bus ride-alongs, CACs, park events, school visits, and some other stuff, but just to name a few. So this year we attended and or hosted 96 events compared to last year we did 76. So this is almost 2 events per week that staff is out in the field meeting with residents. The number of residents we estimate that we interacted with was just over 11,000, and staff hours of interaction was over 11 weeks worth of staff time. So per month, you can kind of look at and see what month has the most events. December, as it gets colder, a little less, but we were still pretty heavy on all months this past year for events. And then the breakdown of numbers by events. So in January, we had one of our Hurricanes events where we go to the Hurricanes game, so you get a lot of numbers there. April is a lot of Touch a Truck events. And then in December, we were asked to join a parade this year, which was really successful with numbers. So that's where you get some of those high numbers from. So that's just a quick overview of all the interaction that, again, the whole entire team participates in: BRT, planning, communications, Commute Smart Raleigh. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have marketing questions for Ms. Epstein? We can always take them to committee as well. Thank you for all the hard work that the whole team does to make sure that the word is getting out about all the capital projects and operations and new riderships and all the things that we have going on. Really appreciate your team and all you do.
Thank you.
Next is calendar stuff, which you have in front of you, a laminated copy of our calendar for this year.
Yes, and I failed to get Andrea a slide for this, so apologies we don't have it up, but everybody does have a laminated copy of this at your seat. So we just wanted to provide everybody with the calendar for the balance of 2026. And if you have any questions, please let us know. But hopefully you can take this and get all of your calendars marked so that you're able to attend our meetings on the dates that we have them scheduled.
Thank you. And it looks like we lucked out, and this was the only meeting of the year that we had to shift. So all the other ones are on their normal, regular schedule, based on the luck of the calendar drops.
Right.
And then we'll talk about if any people have questions about which committee meeting to attend, or as we add like new board members for alternates and things like that, then we'll go over that really at our retreat. But you can always email me anytime if you have a question about your committee assignment or would like to make an adjustment. You can always, of course, go to any committee meeting as well. So retreat is part of this related to this calendar conversation. So what are we thinking about in terms of our annual retreat this spring?
Right. So we haven't talked about this yet, so we're a little late getting this in front of you. But we would like to have a RTA board member retreat. Typically, that's about 3/4 of a day. We can start about 9:30 or 10, and hopefully be wrapped up by 3:30, 4 o'clock at the very latest. We're looking at potentially as early as February the 12th, which might be a kind of tight, trying to squeeze that in. And if not in February, hopefully on the March 12 date. So I guess what we would ask is that if everybody can look at your calendars and send myself or CJ an email and let us know if that either of those 2 dates might work for you, and then we'll start working towards getting it scheduled and get that on the books.
I am unavailable on February 12th. February 12th. I'll be out of town for a national conference.
So looking at March 12th then.
So that would mean we'd have a regular meeting on March 5th, and then we'd meet again for the retreat, or? Oh, the meeting's on the 12th, never mind.
Yeah. Well, what we did last year was we scheduled it on the meeting date. We held the retreat. We adjourned the retreat and then opened up the meeting. And we'll try to keep the agenda pretty brief since it'll be at the end of a long day. But if we did have any action items or things like that that we needed to attempt to get approved, we would do that fairly quickly.
I think that date makes sense, especially in regard to like waiting on some of these like bigger picture reports, like the safety report and things like that. For rushing things to do them next month would be pretty tight. So I think let's lean towards March 12th, and then if folks want to email myself and Mr. Walker, and if you have any conflicts with that day, to meet earlier in that day, and we can plan the kind of agenda around those.
Yeah, the sooner we can get the date set, then the quicker we'll be able to find a location to host it.
Anyone else have thoughts? Moving right along to committee reports. Route committee's up first.
All righty. Any graphics? No? Okay. All right, so first item up is talking about the transit matrix. So as you know, we have the transit app. Externally, it's used to provide the schedule and real-time information, let you know about delays, or if there's detours, you can kind of see that real time, or future planning as well. But internally, this data can be used to extract how we plan going forward. Also doing surveys. It gets surveys from our customers, our riders. So for FY23, we had 50,000 responses. FY24 is not quite out yet, but because of the time frame. But a lot of it asks questions of the riders at the bus stop and during the ride. It can capture the origination location and the destination to see the volume. And also for future changes and upgrades, we can use this information like if bus stops need shelters, where those riders getting off at. So overall, that's good data for that. I think that's what it's mostly for. I know we're going to continue to look at this information. One of the surveys or experience are concerned about is definitely safety. So we're getting feedback from our riders from that, and also the cleanliness of our buses and bus stops. So that information we can use to let us know if areas need to have more focus on, definitely with the buses and bus shelters. So we get that information from our riders, and that will have that information. So it's good that we have that. So data is always important. Any questions about the transit app and the metrics?
I think one of the questions that had come up when this came up from like public comment was just like, how often are we getting reports on that data? Is it once a year? Do we have access to it like more quickly? Like if someone says something is dirty, do you guys know that now or later? Like just a little bit more about what the interaction with that internal information is.
Yeah, I believe we get an update monthly with all of the comments and survey information that is filled out. And so we were able to see that and kind of review it on a monthly basis.
And I don't know, I'm sure it probably can, but it doesn't, if the bus is dirty, it doesn't ask you a question like, what's the bus number? Or there's not a... It knows because you're on it. Right. It knows where you picked it up, but I don't know if someone can extract that data and say, it can be flagged for that information, but I'm sure that'll be an extra query to be pulled for that bus, but...
Well, yeah, and then if there is a monthly report, I think finding a way that it can be incorporated into the metrics that are published is a good idea. And I know this is new and the outputs are new, and so it may take some time to incorporate that, but I think we would benefit from insights from that data as well.
From that particular question for safety and cleanliness?
Any or all of it. Like it's a ridership count, it's a lot of things. So maybe we can talk about which ones in committee, but.
Okay. I'll put that out there. I did think about that, but the next one we're gonna go down to. I'm skipping the time change question. We're gonna pin that one. But the next one is winter updates. So I think there was a question of how do we determine when the bus shuts down, or how do we implement that for weather implications. There's lots of conversations that happens beforehand, not just with David's team. There's other people outside of that in realm, so it's not just a generic statement, we're going to shut the service down. So there are conversations that's being had, because there are implications of just shutting the service down immediately without notifications. And also you got to think about staff, our PT dev as well. So there are conversations that are had before we determine if service needs to be delayed, no service, or suspended. So I hope that answers any questions, concerns about any weather impacts or stuff like that. But the next one is the quarterly on-time reports. So we decided to review those reports quarterly to kind of see a smaller graph of how we're doing. We know we see those monthly here, but we want to internally see what we're doing overall, specifically for the routes. So the target is 85%. So we decided to get a small sample to identify the areas en route that needs to be reviewed. So for the last four months, there were 4 routes that was above 85%, and there were 11 routes that were below 75%. And that ranged between October and December. And we know that L routes is not always on time, but based on reviewing this, the team came to decide up to how to modify some of those L routes to make sure they are on time with the other routes, so timing-wise, that's linking up. So this is why we decided to look at quarter, because that way you can see where the gaps are, where the problems are. So the study is helping. As you know, with March coming up with the new service updates, like the 70L will have more time to transfer with the Go Durham, as well as the 23L and the 18L. There's going to be some timing changes. And also with that study, it was like, is new routes need to be determined or added, which was already going to be done anyway. So the 14 comes along in March, so that's the Atlantic Avenue route, the new route. The 2, which is the Falls and this is going to 15 minutes, and the 17, which is the Rock Quarry route, will be going 30 minutes, but that's in March. And I think that's it from me. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone have any other questions for Ms. Williams? Route is...
Oh, I do have one more thing. Sure. So I know last year we talked about sign changes. You may still see some signs that don't have the correct data. So you might see like 1 or 2 cat signs out there, some that have the, well, one was spotted. So Sarah has gone back to the team to actually, we're going to do each route, not manually, but she gave them a spreadsheet to actually drive the route, to look at it, make sure every stop sign is correct. Not stop sign, bus route is correct. So if there's any change to be done, they can do it at that one time, one shot. So we're looking at target to be complete by, I think I said June. Yes, I did say June. So we'll check back with Sarah in June.
Thank you for being thorough.
You're welcome.
I think this has been a project the entire time that I have been on the RTA, and I'm very excited to see the last cat sign get thrown in the garbage.
Well, it's not just the cat, so it's the Raleigh, the text.
Yeah,
Texting,
getting all the things right on the signs is really important so that every bus rider knows where they're at. Thank you for all the work en route. If there are no more questions for that, we'll move on to finance and policy. And I know, it's 4:00. We'll do public comments because it is 4:00 now, and then we'll do finance and policy.
So we do have one person signed up, Mr. Robert Parrish.
Mr. Parrish, you can come on up. Thank you for being here today. We do have the clock set on 3 minutes, but you have time to speak your mind.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm privileged to speak to the Raleigh Transportation Committee. I am Reverend Robert Parrish, and I represent the Raleigh Commission for persons with disabilities, and I have been traveling on Go Raleigh buses for years and years. But I noticed that there has been a reduction on ADA announcements. For instance, when I take the number 6 bus, it used to announce when the Fairview Glenwood Avenue location was. And that helps me to know where I am in the city and relationship to where I need to get off the bus. So I would encourage the increase or put back the ADA announcements that used to be made. Secondly, addressing the Go Raleigh system, I noticed that sometimes there's a high level of noise, excessive level of noise on Go Raleigh bus systems. And I would encourage that bus drivers would be empowered and asked to help reduce the noise level, because we have a right as passengers to ride in comfort and without excessive noise. But the main thing I want to address, and Mark knows about this, some buses have multiple. Some routes have multiple buses. And I use the Wilmington Street location to catch buses. The 12 goes down there, the 3, the 1. It would be helpful if buses would use their outside speakers to announce themselves to a blind or visually impaired person, especially if they have a white cane and or a guide dog. Now, I am aware that these buses are equipped with outside speakers. I tell drivers to use them. They look at me like I have 3 heads. But no, they're there. And it helps me from running to chase down a bus. I'll chase down the number 12 bus to ask, what bus are you? And they say, I'm on the number 12. But I says, I'm sorry, I'm looking for the number 3. That shouldn't happen. I'm tired of chasing buses. So I would encourage this committee to encourage drivers to use their outside speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Parrish. If you don't mind staying up for just 1 second. I wanted to confirm which route you had mentioned specifically the sound announcements for.
All right. My main bus routes are when it comes to Wilmington Street, I take the number 1 bus, I take the number 3 bus, I take the number 12 bus. Sometimes I might be waiting on, and the number 2 bus, I might add. Yeah, you can see what I'm saying.
Sure. I certainly will take that feedback for the whole system, but I wanted to, specifically make sure that we look at the ones that you mentioned.
And there are other routes in the city,
Absolutely.
ma'am, that have multi-buses, numbered buses going down them as well. And, and it's not helpful only for blind and visually impaired persons, but for everyone.
Absolutely. I was actually going to tell you that my 6-year-old, who gets his numbers very confused, would very much like to have the outdoor speaker on as well when we're waiting for the bus. So I think you're right that these are things that benefit everyone.
Thank you.
So I think we'll take these back to staff as far as the ADA announcements and the outside speakers, so they can look at.
Yeah, what happened to those?
We'll have them take it back to the operations team. That way we can get more detail, and we'll look at that and bring a report back. Does that work, Mr. Walker?
Yeah, the external announcement should be made as long as the bus is logged into the system, and then every time he opens the door, it should make an automatic announcement. So it sounds like that may not be happening, and potentially at some point a button got clicked and potentially deactivated that. So we can get on that pretty quickly and hopefully get that updated.
Mr. Walker, in all due respect, that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to when the buses bus is traveling down the road and it's approaching, and I don't know which bus it is, it'll go right by me if I don't know what it is. Or I'll flag it down, and it's not the bus I want. I'm not talking about opening the door. I'm talking about the buses when they are approaching me at a stop and announcing, I'm the number 12 bus approaching, and especially if you see a guy with a white cane or a guide dog.
Okay, I think understanding your request, I think we'll have to take it back to the operations team, and then we'll make sure that it comes back to the board as a presentation that you'll be able to access.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And then the only other note I was going to make about the noise on the buses and how drivers are empowered or not empowered to correct activity on the bus. We've been working on an update to our code of conduct in finance and policy that will hopefully help with issues like that. And so hopefully the attorney's office will relinquish it soon, and we will be able to approve it, and the bus drivers will be able to start using it. Did you have anything else, Mr. Walker? Thank you very much. We will go to finance and policy next to get an update on how things are going. Ms. Davis, did you want to present that, or someone else?
I was out of town, and so I'm very grateful that Christian chaired the committee meeting. I'll let him report.
Well, I'll piggyback you, Jen. We're waiting for the city attorneys to review and comment on the stroller policy code of conduct as well as the bylaws. So we're hoping, what would it be, end of next month, we should have their comments back, which will allow us to review it again in March.
We may have some stuff to approve at our retreat, hopefully. Okay, and then was there something else about the bylaws? About a new draft or something?
I think this is a holdover from a couple of months ago. We spent a lot of time last year as a committee updating our bylaws, but now the city has developed a template that they want all the committees to use. So probably in March, we'll begin another update of our bylaws so that we can fit into whatever their template is. Hopefully it won't be that different, certainly won't be substance difference, but we'll see. But that's on our agenda for the next couple of months.
Thank you for taking on that work. Anyone wants to go to finance and policy meetings with their free time, I'm sure that it will be appreciated.
Really, it's so fun.
Did you have a question?
When you say template, are they asking you to rewrite it, like edit that template?
I think they're asking us to take the bylaws that we pored over and reported. We thought it was a good template because it had been used the last 2 or 3 times that bylaws had been updated for the authority. But now, because they've begun to try to streamline committees and ask everyone to fit into more of a, uniform, they want all the committees in the city to be more uniform in terms of the way our bylaws read and things like that. So I don't think, that's why I don't think it's going to be that different. There are certain things that as an authority we deal with that another committee in the city might not deal with, but we'll just have to see. I think it's more of a formatting kind of thing. So hopefully it is more formatting and not substance change.
Okay.
Thank you. We will move on to marketing committee.
All right. All right, so we did meet, had a brief meeting, talked about some metrics in the month of December, as well as, our influencer campaign continues. Marketing went well. Honestly, this year we've seen great success with the theme of like using Go Raleigh to go holiday shopping. That was mainly what went out there in December. The influencers in October, November were Experience Raleigh, highlighting routes 26 and the R line, and WRL's Megan LaMontagne highlighted Route 8, and that is really driving the numbers higher. The click-through rate is in the 7%, which, if best to my knowledge, is really good. So, very happy with that. We went over social media in general, just kind of saw 2025, just kind of a zoomed out look on, what we're doing on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter, X. Reviewed the engagement numbers and tossed around high-level ideas for changes. Nothing concrete. I think that'll be an ongoing discussion. So I'm open to suggestions here or later about, could there be things we're doing different, better? Maybe it's a retreat topic. And then following up on an idea for a Stuff a Bus event. This kind of just came from me in December, seeing other orgs do good things. Maybe we could do one. But right now, so we discussed it, and while it's probably easy to run, it's more difficult to get the logistics put together. So it could be something I'd be interested to discuss with some board members to see if we can't find some partners to put together for, we're looking like all the way to Thanksgiving 2026, right? Because it takes a while. So, I think that'd be something we could partner with someone. Yeah.
Could you explain what a Stuff a Bus campaign is or a program is?
Okay, yeah. So what I've seen other organizations do is they'll take a bus or some stuff, a truck, whatever, and post up at some location and announce that we're trying to fill it with, food and, to give to some kitchen or toys for kids or something like that. And we're, try to fill the whole thing. And then, ideally maybe drive it to some charity and drop it all off. Right? These get covered also, so we'll get the word out that we got an event going, but we probably more on the logistics side. We probably need a location that logistically works for this. We need a partner to accept all of that stuff, not in slow quantities, but in one big shot. So and of course we probably need a bus. So we just got to put those together. So I think on our end, if there is anyone that has a contact that, has access to some location with maybe lots of parking, or we can get in touch with some charity that's ready to do this, I think we can work together to organize this. So we talked about that a little bit, and we'll see where it goes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So probably with Stuff the Bus, you can probably piggyback off another group that's doing it. You provide the bus. They have the event, so maybe a joint connection. So we'll talk about that.
I think let's put this on the retreat agenda to have a little conversation about, because I think the last couple of years of the retreat, we've thought about whether there were things we as a board could hold some of the logistical event things. Other boards do that rather than just having ideas that we tell staff to do. So I think if we put this on the agenda at the retreat, this is one of those things that might be good for that. Did you have any other marketing items? Thank you.
I have one thing.
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, do we know the metrics for the social media for like Facebook and Instagram? Like, has the volumes gone up on our side? Like, have we increased followers, likes? And
I remember correctly, yeah, Facebook and Instagram are going up. Twitter's a little flat, but we had a detailed chart at our meeting that we can share.
Okay.
And I do think it'll be an ongoing thing we talked
Right.
about this year. But I'm open to ideas of like we said, should we be on, we're not on Threads. Should we be on Threads? I don't know.
No, no.
Okay, that's one. For me.
It's the same platform as IG, so it's like overkill. I would say that even though there are sponsored content, take those sponsored content and actually put it on the platform, because once the sponsored goes away, so those who don't see the sponsored ads, those promotions should be on the, like, so that way you can reshare it versus paying for it. So do it on the free side. So go ahead and put the same ad on the actual platform itself. If that makes sense. So share it on IG, share it on Facebook, not as an ad, but the actual a true post. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the account.
Yes.
Oh, okay. It just won't have the same reach, I think.
But it'll always
Like
be there though.
Meta's magic. Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Because today, if it goes away, you don't see it.
Sure. There's our paid
Yes.
stuff,
And there's the free side.
and then there's the evergreen.
Yes.
Evergreen posts
Yes.
are there, and it can always be accessed. Yes.
And then you can put it in your story. So that increases more engagement. So.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you. Obviously, diving deep into the social media metrics there, but we appreciate the marketing team's eye on those things and the things that are most effective in letting people know how awesome our bus system is. Next is the general manager's report from our ITP Dev with our other very important key performance indicators and metrics. Welcome.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Brian Andrews. I'm the Deputy GM for Raleigh Transit. Ms. Dupree, our general manager, does send her apologies this evening. She did have another appointment, so you guys are stuck with me today, okay? You can't speak up? Okay, all right, I'm sorry. All right, so we'll dive right in to the report. Our active operators for November, we had a pretty good performance in November. We're around a little over 240 operators. Our magic number is 260. Of course, like most transit systems in the area, we're always actively recruiting. We can never really kind of take our foot off the pedal. We are doing a lot of aggressive campaigns now. We've done a lot of partnerships with some community providers, NC Work, some local churches, some other groups who have taken kind of an interest in kind of what we do and been able to provide the opportunity. So they've kind of come alongside of us. In addition to that, we are doing bi-weekly on-site job fairs now at our facility. In addition to that, we've also partnered with NC Works, and we're doing at least one event with them every month now, in addition to the events that they have. So we're doing everything we can, as well as trying to do some internal things, developing some mentorship programs and things like that, so we can, get the operators in the door, and then on the back end, try and keep the operators that we have. In terms of our monthly missed trips for November, we're around 66, which is pretty solid considering where we are with the operator head count. Of course, normally most of those missed trips are because we don't have any operators. That's just kind of how it goes, right? But as we're getting operators in the door, of course, we're working on trying to reduce those missed trips, and so far for the month, we're off to a really, really good start. And so we just hope to continue that trend as we get operators in the door, so they're able to take those routes. And then, of course, also being the holiday, people just like to, be off and be with families. They call out, right? And so we do the best we can in trying to get those trips covered. Comparing the ridership month over month, a little bit higher than we were last year, November. We know that, our ridership is going to take its ebbs and flows, but we, think we'll probably continue that trend upwards, particularly as we're adding service, we're adding frequency, hopefully people will continue to ride. And it is cooler now. I don't know if that has any type of impact, but, people may not be out as much, right, when the weather is not as nice. So normally during the summer months, you probably start to see those increases kind of creep up gradually. Our on-time performance was okay, something we're continuing to work on. I heard you say earlier that's something we're really kind of taking a deep dive into. We understand that we do have some issues, right, in the routes. We're starting to dedicate more resources. We've done some internal things in terms of some alignment with some staff. So our goal is to start getting some of our supervisors out the office more to really kind of monitor some of the routes and the operators, just to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, as well as our supervisors really kind of getting more active in the field, just to eliminate the issue of operators. And then we'll start taking care of maybe some of the route things that we need to take care of in terms of what may be affecting routes, in terms of maybe construction and some of those things in the city that may tend to slow routes down. Probably equally as difficult as recruiting bus operators is probably mechanics. I know for the last couple of months we've actually gone with an outside vendor to kind of help us keep our PMs kind of up and going. Ben and his team do a really, really good job. Over the past couple of months, though, I am pleased to say that we were able to hire a couple of mechanics, which is good. The other benefit is we were able to hire mechanics that came in the door and they had already had transit experience, right? So the training time is less. A lot of times we can put those individuals right on the floor and they can get to work. So we've hired 2 within the last, I think, 2 months. And so we're excited that, he's kind of hopefully turning the curve now. We can kind of back away from that contract team, and his guys can kind of stay on top of some of the things in terms of bringing a lot of that work in-house. I'll have a seat unless you have any questions for me regarding the fixed route side. But Ms. Tressia, our AGM in the paratransit, will answer any paratransit questions that you have.
Before we switch to paratransit, I had 2 questions, and I'm sure other folks may as well. Regarding the on-time performance, was someone from RATP Dev, someone from RATP Dev, like on the operations side, be able to make those quarterly meetings where the route committee is talking about the issues? I think we want our meetings to be productive and we don't want to take anyone's time unnecessarily, but I think if someone from the operations team could be at those meetings while we look at those stats, it would be most useful.
Yeah, I don't know who would be responsible for sending the invites. You can send them over, yeah, and we'll get there, yeah.
I think we're only looking to have them once a quarter, so it won't be every month. Okay, and then my second question, thank you for that. My second question was on the mechanic slide just before this, just so to make sure that we all understand the mean distance between failures. The target is 10,000. If it's higher than 10,000, that's good, correct?
So,
Are those the road miles between?
Back it up one slide. I think you're talking about the...
Some of the metrics are bad if they're high, and some of them are
Right.
good if they're high. I just want to make sure I'm reading them correctly.
Yeah, the one on the right is miles between failures or miles between road calls is what that is.
Gotcha. So if it's higher than the target, that's actually good.
That's good. That's
Okay.
very good, yes. And they're trending in a very good direction.
Okay.
it's all positive.
Good job. Yes, Mark.
Yes, it's more for staff. When I'm looking on page, it's the rolling 12-month ridership. I went back and looked on page 6 of the report last week, and I don't know if I'm looking at this correctly, but it would appear from this that we have 1 million more trips than in 2019. It is the Go Raleigh pre-COVID 2019 base ridership comparison by route. November of 2025. That was prior to the pandemic, and it was 2.3 million. And it looks like we're delivering 3.3 million. Is that correct? It looks like we've had, it says a 44% increase. And if that's true, that's phenomenal because most cities are trying to get back to pre-COVID.
I'm always bragging about this. That's why I made them keep the 2019 numbers in the slides, because if you look at the comparison to last year, it's a small increase.
Exactly.
But when we look at pre-COVID, I think our team's doing a phenomenal job in increasing ridership.
Yes, and I mean, I look at Glenwood Avenue, or number 6. It has had substantial growth. Number 1, 400,000 trips.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's phenomenal. And, you know, a lot of times we hear comments from the public, they see empty buses.
I don't know which buses they're looking at.
This proves that we, you know, Go Raleigh is succeeding. The only question I had was the North Carolina State Fair only had 16,000 trips this year and 92,000 trips back in 2019. Have we reduced the service to the
Yes.
fair?
Pre-pandemic, we always had at least 3 parking rides. This year, we were only able to get 1, and we were not able to get the one that we've had historically from the North Raleigh location. So we only had the one site this year, and it was a new site down in just south of Raleigh and Garner. So the ridership was quite a bit lower this year than the pandemic, mainly because of only having the one site, but also because I think the last year we had the North Raleigh site, and it, I think, was in the 20,000s of trips. So we, attribute that just to it being a new location this year.
Well, it's phenomenal. I mean, I see a lot of growth in Garner, which with all the movement of people, it appears we're keeping them within Go Raleigh.
I love a good brag. Thank you, Mr. Teague.
Thank you.
I'm going to keep us moving along since we have a cutoff for our meeting. So we'll hear the paratransit report as well.
Just real quick, per Jen's comment there, because I forgot to make that announcement at the beginning. Since we did move our meeting back 1 week, there is another meeting scheduled in Chambers a little bit later. So we do need to be wrapping it up here in the next 10, 15 minutes.
Good afternoon, everyone. So for the paratransit, well, of course we see. So the OTP for the two, for November, ended up being at the Go Raleigh, performed at the vans at 88.82%. The taxis were performing at 90.57%. Well, where did it go? Somewhere.
Don't forget to speak into the mic.
Well, now I gotta find it all somewhere. The missed trips, Go Raleigh, the vans was at 1 for November, taxis was at 186, so they still have been averaging about the same number each month as far as the missed trips. And the on-time performance, as I stated, they are both above the 85%, so they're actually performing great as far as the overall on-time performance. And I'm not sure if y'all had any other questions as far as the paratransit side go.
I just want to point out, it is important to notice that on the missed trips for the taxis are delivering 25,000 trips, and the vans are producing 2,600, 2,700 trips. So it appears that the taxis have a much higher percentage, but in reality, they don't. I want to apologize for not being here for November because the survey for the paratransit community was outstanding. I mean, when you have a customer satisfaction of a 9 out of 10, that's phenomenal. And I apologize that I wasn't here to recognize the success of your company. And I actually have a shout out to Ebony, one of your associates. She gave me extraordinary service. Lately, I have witnessed a lot of positive things, including the vans. There was a rescue trip that was at Capitol Towers at our borough class where a lady was rescued within 30 minutes. So I want to thank you for the disabled community for the service that you give us.
You're more than welcome, and thank you as well, Mr. Teague.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Appreciate all you do.
All right, thank you.
Is that our last presentation? And we just have concluding remarks. So if any authority members have concluding remarks, anything else they'd like to add?
I just need we can get the email, but on the last meeting that we had in November, I was asking for the status of the de-escalation, how many operators have completed that course, so, or staff, so if we can get that.
Any other thoughts, questions?
You can email it to me. We don't have time. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we're going to roll along with our meeting today. Ms. Davis, did you have something?
No, I don't.
Mr. Thomas?
The only question I have real quick is how many operators short is the Go Raleigh right now? I know y'all
20?
had a hiring
I think he said about 15 to 20.
15 to 20. Okay, that's
Awesome.
Any other thoughts, questions? Staff? All right. Well, I appreciate everyone's thoroughness today in our perhaps fastest meeting ever, in exactly just under an hour because we started a few minutes late. So I will adjourn today's Raleigh Transit Authority meeting at 4:31.
I'm Bill Motley, and this is what I do. My job title is Manager, IT Project Management Services, here with the City of Raleigh's Information Technology Department. In my role, I lead a team of IT project managers, and we work with